This was a point that was raised by India Today's Mosmi Singh about the old pension scheme. An old pension scheme is something that's found a lot of traction, especially amongst those who worked with the government. But suddenly, this scheme that made a strong poll pitch in assembly polls, but not there in this manifesto. First, let's listen in to Mosmi Singh, and then I'm Sanjay Jha, I'm coming to you. Listen in.
मेरा सवाल मैडम सोनिया गांधी से है। मैम, अगर आपसे सवाल, राहुल जी, आपने ओपीएस को लेके लगातार जो है झंडा बुलंद किया है। तमाम सरकारें आपकी, उन्होंने ओपीएस का वादा किया था। चिदम्बरम साहब, you had promised OPS, and in Himachal and Rajasthan you implemented OPS, but in the manifesto the OPS scheme is missing. So is there a is there a introspection that it's not viable economically? Is it that?
It's not missing as such. It's very much on our minds. But please remember the developments that have taken place in the last 4 months. The government has appointed a committee headed by the Finance Secretary to review the NPS and the demand for OPS, and to find a way in which the objectives of OPS can be financed by a funded pension scheme. Which means the government has come around to the point of view that while the OPS delivered benefits to the pensioners, the NPS made it sustainable. Now a committee has been appointed under the Finance Secretary, and unless we receive the report of that committee and review it, it would be premature to take a stand on the OPS-NPS controversy. It's very much on our minds, and we will come out with our position once the committee's report is received.
So after making the OPS or the old pension scheme a strong poll pitch ahead of assembly elections, reverting to it in states where the Congress came to power, the party appears to have put it on the back burner when it comes to government employees in the Lok Sabha elections manifesto. You heard India Today's Mosmi Singh when she asked P. Chidambaram that question, and he said that a central government appointed committee is looking into it. But Sanjay Jha, is that not a huge setback to lakhs of government employees now working under NPS but were hoping for the OPS?
Well, I think Mr. Chidambaram has already articulated his point, which is consistent with what should be good politics and good policy. Or wait for the committee's report and then take a call. But here are 2 points that I wish to make, Gaurav. You know, the BJP spokesperson kept going on and on and on. But do you know that the BJP and Mr. Modi has survived by trying to actually only extend the Congress's Manrega and the Food Security Act, because they didn't have any policy what they aimed to reach out to India's poor and India's disadvantaged at all. They had nothing to offer.
That has been
so
answered a million times,
policy that has kept them politically alive. Point number 2, he said that the Congress has made promises it hasn't fulfilled. My dear friend, Karnataka and Telangana were won based on guarantees that not only won them the election, but please go and read your numbers. Don't indulge in fake news. They are all being carried out, and you see the results in the Lok Sabha that will tell
Which
you
ones?
why.
Give me 5. Which ones?
And my last point.
Give me 5.
What is Modi ki guarantee? Record unemployment, farmer distress, high food inflation, destruction of investment, corruption in electoral bonds, destruction of institutions, and making India's democracy.
Since I'm on the last part of this,
that is Modi ki guarantee.
Fair enough. Okay, Siddharth Yadav, you want to quickly respond before I bring in Siddharth Zarabi and Sanjay Kumar?
Gaurav, it would have been better if Sanjay ji, without not resorting to rhetoric, would have actually listed out the 5 guarantees that they had promised in Karnataka and they're actually fulfilling. But he also knows that there's none, and that is why he can't list them out. But the reality is, the Congress party and this entire NDA alliance is exposed in front of the people. The reality is that today the government of India is collecting the maximum tax. The government of India, despite giving relaxation in the slabs, people are actually trusting the government, and the maximum tax collection is happening, and that is being spent on asset creation, that is being spent on the basic reforms that this country
what
is
is
seeing.
India's
All
tax as a
rhetoric,
percentage of
all
GDP?
rhetoric by Sanjay ji,
Okay.
all rhetoric by Sanjay ji.
My
goes-
question very
all
specifically
rhetoric-
was
what is
on
the
the
direct
old
tax
pension
contribution
scheme,
to
the
India's
point
budget?
that Mosmi
You know
Singh
the
had
number?
raised. So Sanjay Kumar, it was a promise that was made pre-elections. It helped the Congress pre-elections in states. But your take on OPS not being there in its poll manifesto?
See, I don't know why this has not been put in by the Congress party, but my own sense is that in the states where they have promised implementation, when they are trying to implement it, they must have figured out that this is going to be very, very difficult to implement. If you promise it across the state, if at all they come to power, then they would find it extremely difficult to fulfill that promise. I think they want to be very, 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 very careful about that, and that is why it has not been put in the election
Because
manifesto.
Siddharth Zarabi, the last 30 seconds that I have on this part of the show is promises are made. Ultimately, it's the taxpayer who's supposed to fulfill promises made in these poll manifestos, including OPS, which is causing problems today.
Considering the number of people who are still struggling at the bottom of the pyramid in India, and given the fact that this kind of OPS scheme would be a very heavy burden on those who are not in that kind of regular government employment, I think that is the only saving grace that, as far as the central manifesto is concerned, OPS seems to be on the back burner.